Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle from Chicago tonight. She's back.
Everyone thinks you've been kicking back, drinking margaritas on the beach, but really, you've been hard at work.
Plus, new evidence of Hillary's scheme to frame Trump.
I'm convinced there were meetings and phone calls. I'm convinced that there were financial entanglements.
Well, and physical fitness is back. And we get a shout out to one of our guests.
He's a man who you're not going to mess around with. Triple H. There he is. Oh, that's still very strong. He's a strong guy.
Triple A is here, but first, mob beatings rattle America. That's the focus of tonight's angle. We're learning more about that stomach-churning attack in Cincinnati that sent at least 2 people to the hospital last weekend. Now, despite the fact that a huge crowd saw what went down, only one 911 call came in, and it wasn't until after everyone had scattered.
Where are the suspects now?
They're all running away.
They're where?
Running away.
Of course, many chose to film all of it on their cell phones instead of helping out. Now, you see a man savagely beaten by a group that appears to be mostly African American. Then you see a woman, her name is Holly, being knocked unconscious. Another male was also viciously pummeled. All victims appear to be white. Now, if it were up to traditional media sources, you probably never would have heard much about this. Because in the first 24 hours or so, there was no big local press briefing, nothing in any big media outlet. But since the videos of the attacks were all over the internet, the public outcry grew and grew. And when Cincinnati Police Chief Teresa Tedage finally spoke out, her toughest words seemed focused on social media.
Social media, the post that we've seen, does not depict the entire incident. That is one version of what occurred. At times, social media and mainstream media and their commentaries are a misrepresentation of the circumstances surrounding any given event.
Okay, we didn't need multiple camera perspectives to see how horrific this was. But we do now have additional video of the moments before the real violence began.
Oh, yeah, sleep him, yup. Get him up out of here. Get him up out of here.
Yeah, so sure, there was a skirmish between a few people, and the white male seemed to make the first contact, but the contact looks like kind of a shadow boxing light slap. This in no way justifies what happened next. Now, there are 3 suspects in custody so far: Jermaine Matthews, Decry Vernon, and Montianez Merriweather. Detectives in Cincy say Merriweather is seen on video whispering to another man before blindsiding the victim from behind. His mother explained what happened in that moment. Clarissa Merriweather told a local news station that the victims were Russians and that her son was heard on video asking, "You want to mess with him?" Then he slapped the first guy. She went on to say her child is not a thug. He's on the honor roll and has 5 children. Well, her child is 34 years old. I don't care if he's valedictorian. This was an inexcusable, depraved attack. Now, according to police testimony, Merriweather coordinated this with another suspect, Jermaine Matthews. Again, they're not teenagers. Matthews is 39, Merriweather again 34. Decira Vernon, also arrested, is 24. But the reaction from the city's leadership reminds us of why Democrat-run cities are in such trouble. The mayor of Cincinnati, Aftab Purval, has been on a family vacation in Vancouver. Just a few hours ago, he announced he's doing a press conference tomorrow. That's 6 days after the attack. Now, more disturbing were online comments by Victoria Parks, the president pro tem of the Cincinnati City Council. On her private Facebook account, she wrote that the victims begged for that beatdown. Okay, that is shameful. We asked Victoria if she regretted that statement. No response from her. And it is not unfair to believe that had the races of the accused and the victims been reversed, these attacks would have been national news for days. I could imagine someone like a Benjamin Crump flying in would be hearing that the system was broken. Wait, there were no ambulances on site? Where was the police response? A police response was initially slow. A mayor wasn't present. A city councilwoman who said those things would have been already forced to resign. If the attackers were white, all we'd be hearing about would be white rage and systemic racism. But this is not an isolated incident. In L.A. earlier this year, a man was attacked by a group of teen bikers.
I'm feeling the hits, and I'm trying to keep my head down.
Battered, bruised, and deeply shaken, Maurice Benaim recounts the terrifying moment he was brutally attacked by a mob of 20 to 30 teens on bikes.
They just surrounded me, and next thing I know, I'm just trying to focus on not passing out in the middle of the road and, trying to protect my head.
It took two good Samaritans to step in before the teens rode away on their bikes, but not before they also damaged Maurice's car.
And just a few weeks ago, a teenager at a football camp in South Carolina, and he happens to be white, was brutally beaten. That also caught on video.
Oh, what's up, man? I gotta get in here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Feel them. Nope. Don't even get up. Don't even get up. Don't even get up. Yeah. Don't even get up.
Now watch your next time. You know what not to say.
This leads a lot of people to start asking, does this start to become normalized? People become just, numb to all of this. Why do people choose to film instead of choose to step in? Now, we warned that the fallout from the Floyd riots would be extensive. We had our cities burned, stores were looted, people assaulted, statues ripped down, government buildings torched and attacked. Police, of course, all police, hardworking police, denigrated. And what did so many of our leaders at the time say and do? Well, they, perfunctorily condemned violence, but you got the sense that they were really believing, well, most of the protests are mostly peaceful. They're just a few bad apples. They pulled back law enforcement. They excused criminality in some cases as almost a type of catharsis. You have a right, young people, to be angry. Race was used as a weapon to justify, in some cases, almost anything. Tonight I'm saying this just has to stop. Law and order has to be restored. Racism in either direction does not justify violence, and it certainly doesn't excuse shoplifting or vandalism either, whatever your skin color. Parents, you need to parent. Stop making excuses for your kids. Start setting boundaries and start setting them early. And yeah, life's going to be unfair. People are going to be rude, mean, some racist, but that doesn't give anyone of any color or creed license to lash out. And public officials, do your jobs. Stop kowtowing to the woke crowd. Send a strong message that if you commit a crime, expect to do time. And that's the angle.
Donald Trump's building a big, beautiful ballroom in the White House for big, beautiful parties, where the country can host foreign leaders, musicians, and the American people.
If the president of China or France or UK or Ursula comes to town, you give them a big state dinner. We don't have a room like that. At the White House, they have to use a tent. And if it's raining, it's soaking wet, soggy. The area is a very low area. All the water rushes to it, and it's a disaster.
Who wants to party with your wife while she's wearing high heels in a hot, soggy tent? Chuck does.
Some breaking news. Just now, the White House announced construction of a $200 million White House ballroom that will begin in September. A $200 million ballroom. Where'd this money come from? Did Congress appropriate it? I don't think so.
Why would Senator Schumer want his beautiful wife's heels sloshing around the muddy White House lawn? And since when has Schumer cared how much anything costs? He didn't even want to doge the $2 million for sex changes in Guatemala. And the guy didn't even do his homework.
President Trump and other donors have generously committed to donating the funds necessary to build this approximately $200 million structure.
When AOC kicks Schumer out of office, she's going to be the belle of the ballroom. We know she likes to dress up and go to glamorous events and borrow $3,000 dresses, get caught and have to pay it back. RFK Jr. says the Kennedys would have loved a big, beautiful ballroom.
I've been coming to this building for 65 years, and I have to say that it's never looked better. It's been transformed. My uncle, my aunt, Jackie, who were deeply committed to design, to beauty, and who understood that it's important to have our public buildings be beautiful because it inspires us, the releasing through freedoms of the creativity of the human spirit. And this building, of all buildings, should look beautiful. And under your stewardship, it looks extraordinary today.
A few years ago, I had dinner at the White House with President Trump, and he pointed to a picture on the wall and said, "Jesse, that's a Monet. It's $20 million. Jackie O donated it, and when I leave, I'm thinking of taking it home." And I said, "Mr. President, I don't think that's a good idea." And he said, "Why not? Crooked took the silverware." JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon's been at the White House a lot recently. He used to be an enemy, and now he's a frenemy.
We started tariffs, we didn't know what they're going to be, and now we kind of know, and they're more moderate and thoughtful and more carefully done, and hopefully they'll help some companies export. Maybe some people move manufacturing back here. So, so far, so good.
So far, so good is right. Last month, because of tariffs, we balanced the budget for the first time in a decade. And now the press wants to know what took so long.
Why didn't you invoke this law in your first term? You could have taken in billions upon billions of dollars in your first term, but you waited until your second term.
Yeah, because in my first term, I was fighting lunatics like you who were trying to do things incorrectly and inappropriately to a president that was duly elected.
The press found out they're getting tariff stimmies, and they want more forever trade wars. But the trade wars are ending, and so are the real ones.
The president has now ended conflicts between Thailand and Cambodia, Israel and Iran, Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, India and Pakistan, Serbia and Kosovo, and Egypt and Ethiopia. This means President Trump has brokered, on average, about one peace deal or ceasefire per month during his 6 months in office. It's well past time that President Trump was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize.
Even Chris Cuomo's admitting he's been wrong about everything.
I've been wrong. I've been wrong about political issues. I've been wrong about people. I've been wrong about myself. I've been wrong about my responsibilities. I've been wrong about my opinions, my tastes, my choices. I've been wrong.
This must be driving the big guy crazy. The Senate Foreign Affairs Chairman, the statesman, Joseph Biden, kept telling other countries, don't, and they did. But when Trump says don't, they don't. The auto pen's still haunting the Democrats. He's so scary that he knocked Pocahontas off her feet.
Senators voting in the affirmative: Baldwin, Blunt Rochester, Durbin, Heinrich, Hirono.
Liz is sitting Indian style while Comer plays Duck, Duck, Goose with Biden aides, investigating how they cooked up the cover-up.
President Biden won the 24 election, sir. Who is the leader of the Democratic Party? Would you patiently believe in the campaign?
Mike Donnellan says he knew Joe for 40 years, but never met AutoPen. Sure. Meanwhile, Joe's post-presidency is so sad, Johnny's more famous. Biden just hangs around Delaware. Sometimes he goes to the mall, and he only brings one assistant. I have as many assistants as Biden. And when he travels, he flies commercial. Biden went from Amtrak Joe to American Airlines Joe. Do you know how crazy it is that the president is flying commercial? Could you imagine taking your seat and you're sitting next to a guy asking for more peanuts, and it's Joe Biden? Maybe the only person he's traveling with is his ghostwriter, because this guy, whoever he is, has a lot of work to do. Because the president has to remember to write a memoir. But Biden's ghostwriter has some competition. Binder's book drops in October, but not before this one.
Everyone thinks you've been kicking back, drinking margaritas on the beach, but really, you've been hard at work writing a book, meeting with leaders, thinking about the future of our country. Who said that?
Kamala's not running for California governor. She'll be making appearances at your local Barnes & Noble.
The shortest presidential campaign in modern history. It was intense, high stakes, and deeply personal for me and for so many of you. Since leaving office, I've spent a lot of time reflecting on those days, talking with my team, my family, my friends, and pulling my thoughts together. In essence, writing a journal that is this book, 107 Days.
Trump made Hillary a bestseller, and now Harris. Her advance was so small, her team didn't even leak it. And if she wants it to sell so she can live off the royalties, she should tell the truth about Joe, how the cocaine was really his, and how she slapped Doug in the face when the nanny news leaked. But if she's as talented of a writer as she is a speaker, it's going to sound a lot like drunk Judy Blume. Trump thinks the whole thing's hilarious.
What do you see in her political future, sir?
Well, she can't speak. She can't talk. She can't do an interview. I thought it was a very strange campaign that we had. I wouldn't call her a skilled politician. Would you?
She's also coming out with a book. Any plans to buy it?
I don't know. I think I'm going to buy it. I'd love to see it. No.
For once, Democrats agree with Trump. They'd rather have Kamala kicking back, drinking margaritas on the beach than going on word salad book tours.
Would you be supportive if she wanted to run for the Democratic nomination in 2028?
Martha, 2028 is a long way off. And first, we need to focus on the challenges right in front of us here in Congress.
There's one word that comes to mind when Democrats think of Kamala, and it's the L word.
Is she a good candidate? Is she a fresh face anymore? I think it's a problem for the broader Democratic Party because it latches them to the past. Nothing against Kamala Harris, but she is labeled a loser by the party. She lost to Donald Trump and a voice of the past. And I think the more the past haunts Democrats, the more problematic it is for them to move forward into the future.
Democrats haven't nominated a presidential loser since Adlai Stevenson in 1956. Poor Adlai lost in a 41-state landslide. Charlemagne says Kamala should find some new hobbies.
I don't know. I don't know if she should run again, but I definitely would like to see her write a book. I definitely would like to, see her start a podcast and just build a real connection with people, And she is, relatively young. I just don't know what's going to happen in 2028, man. I just think Democrats suck so bad. I don't know.
I'm not sure a Kamala podcast is going to play. Kamala talking more is not the answer. But you better find an answer soon, because Comer's about to put Mamala under oath.
I think that's another great thing about Kamala Harris not running for governor. She's going to have more time to come before the House Oversight Committee and testify about Joe Biden's cognitive decline. So I think the odds of Kamala Harris getting a subpoena are very high.
Well, before she talks to Comer, she's talking to Colbert. Tonight, she'll be on The Late Show. There's so much the two can talk about. What it's like to lose millions of dollars and your job. Johnny hit up the Ed Sullivan Theater for a vibe check. Watch.
When you first found out you were getting tickets to Colbert, who were you hoping the guest was?
Donald Trump.
Al Gore. Jon Stewart.
A huge guest tonight. You excited?
I have no idea who it is.
Kamala Harris.
Get out! Get out!
Kamala! 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 You excited for the guest tonight?
I guess so.
Do you want Kamala to be the Democrat nominee in 2028?
I would like a real primary.
I want to see a primary.
You don't want them to anoint her again?
No, I want a primary.
She's going to announce her book. You going to read it?
Sure.
Sure. That wasn't so enthusiastic.
Okay, yes.
I might.
Do you want her to be the nominee in 2028?
I'm not sure.
What if it's Kamala versus Stephen Colbert?
Stephen. Colbert.
Yeah, I would have to vote for Colbert.
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 Colbert. Colbert. 100%.
We begin tonight, though, with a smoking gun. This has been the product of 7 to 8 years of coverage on this program, and that is the classified annex from the Durham report is classified no more. The newly revealed evidence might be more explosive than anything we have seen to date. Senator Grassley seems to think so. As a reminder, Special Counsel John Durham, he was tasked under Trump's first term to investigate the sketchy origins of the Russia hoax. But for whatever reason, the material I am about to show you was designated as classified, not revealed to the public until now. It can get confusing. We're going to go slow. We're going to explain it in detail. We begin with a truly stunning email. It's from July 2016. That was the month no reasonable prosecutor would prosecute, James Comey said, you might recall. Anyway, July 2016, according to the documents declassified by Senator Chuck Grassley, a top Soros-backed Clinton ally, his name, Leonard Bernardo, wrote the following, quote, HRC, that would be Hillary Rodham Clinton, approved Julia's idea about Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections. That should distract people from her own missing email, especially if the affair goes to the Olympic level. Let me read that again. HRC, Hillary Rodham Clinton, approved the idea about Trump and Russian hackers. Great idea, right? Emails continue. In the absence of direct evidence, CrowdStrike and Threat Connect, which are DNC-linked tech firms, will supply the media, and they're all too willing to take it. This was on July 27, 2016, just 4 days before the FBI decided to open its investigation into so-called Trump and Russia. Operation Crossfire Hurricane, it later became known. Now, is this an insane coincidence? Well, we report, you decide. And it gets so much worse. A prior email on July 25, 2016, from that same Clinton ally stated the following, quote, Julie says it will be a long-term affair to demonize Putin and Trump. Now it is good for a post-convention bounce. Later, the FBI will put more oil into that fire. And then to make matters even worse, according to reports, the Julie, who we just mentioned, was a longtime national security advisor who served under Obama. Now, the purported author of that email denies all wrongdoing, but are you connecting the dots? Based on these emails, declassified today, Hillary Rodham Clinton approved the Russia hoax against Donald Trump as a political smear and a campaign. That was seemingly coordinated between the Clinton campaign, the White House, and that would be Obama's White House, and Comey's FBI and Obama's CIA. That would be under John Brennan. Now, the now declassified annex described it this way, quote, it was a two-pronged Democratic Party opposition that is focused on discrediting Trump. It continues, quote, among other things, the Clinton staff, with support from special services, is preparing scandalous revelations of business relations between Trump and the Russian mafia, which never happened. As the New York Post points out, the special services cited in one of the memos referred to intelligence activities of Obama's CIA and FBI. On this program, we refer to that as the deep state, which may have included the work of the Trump dossier author Christopher Steele. Remember, Hillary Clinton bought and paid for dirty Russian disinformation dossier. He's at the bottom of that. It's been totally debunked and full of lies. According to Tulsi Gabbard, her declassification last week, this was before then President Obama ordered John Brennan to come up with the second intelligence assessment in the winter of 2016 because they didn't like the original assessment that was completed by senior career CIA officials, rank and file. And they did not find any evidence at all whatsoever that Donald Trump was colluding with Russia. This takes us into December, well past the election, when they put out their report. But that wasn't good enough. That didn't fit the lying narrative. Brennan was so desperate to get this new report that he published it using material from Hillary's dirty Russian disinformation dossier. Now, despite serious objections from career agents in the CIA, according to all this declassified information, they were all against it. In other words, based on all the new evidence from the Durham Annex and last week's declassifications from Gabbard, the Obama White House used the full force of the FBI and the CIA and frankly the White House to conspire with the Clinton campaign, utilizing actual Russian disinformation that they paid for, was bought by the Clinton campaign, first to stop Trump from winning the election. They thought she'd win. And then when she lost, to smear President Trump, delegitimize the election results, and cast a shadow over Trump's presidency, which, by the way, it did. We covered this story for 3 long years, almost night in and night out. As Senator Chuck Grassley put it, quote, intelligence reports showing the Clinton campaign may have been ginning up the fake Trump-Russia narrative for Clinton's political gain, which was ultimately done through the Steele dossier and other means, and yet the corrupt media mob happily pushed this hoax for years. They celebrated it.
Look, I think that the president does not want to come to terms with the fact that the Russians hacked the election.
Russia hacked the election to tilt it to Mr. Trump. The question is, did Mr. Trump cooperate?
Unlike President Trump, he has no doubt the Russians hacked the election.
Mr. Trump is seeing more and more of the walls closing in on him, which is why he is becoming increasingly desperate.
The presidency is effectively a Russian op, right? You know, partisan warfare between Republicans and Democrats. This is international warfare against our country.
This is evidence of willingness to commit collusion.
Definitively, Russia hacked the election, and Russia is doing it again now.
This is why I said after Election Day, the legacy state-run media mob is officially dead. Peddling lies and conspiracy theories takes away any trust that you might have with the American people. This is a level of corruption and bias I've never seen before. Everyone involved must now be held accountable so it never happens again. Now, tonight, in a lengthy statement, the Soros-backed Clinton ally in those newly released emails that were declassified today by Senator Chuck Grassley, well, their organization denied, quote, all wrongdoing. We've also reached out to Obama, Clinton, Brennan, Clapper, Obama advisor, the one that was mentioned in the annex. We have yet to hear back from anybody. They are welcome on this program if they want to try to explain this.
House Democrat Eric Swallwell responded to our segment about his cheesy workout video by challenging me to a bench press contest. I got to say, it's nice to see him pump something besides a Chinese spy. Thank you. Speaking of Eric, you remember that workout video we showed you the other night, the one that looked about as high impact as hydrotherapy at a nursing home? But because we ragged the video, the poor sap, a.k.a. Fat Dexter, has challenged me to a bench press contest. And the loser, he says, has to quit their job. Yes, Swallwell, the only man to ever be outlifted in the Capitol gym by the groundhog on Maxine Waters' head, says he wants to meet me in the weight room. Now, perhaps it's all a plan to get me in the gym sauna by himself. But Swallwell also claimed that he had never heard of me. Right. Nice try, Eric. Everyone knows me. I'm so famous you can't go to a Cambodian prison without hearing my name.
Greg! 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 Greg!
Well, that brings back memories. But that's why I never leave the house. So, Eric, if you really want anyone to take you seriously, you might try truth instead of being so damn thirsty. It's why you got honeypotted by a Chinese spy. She looked at you and thought, a socially inept dork who hasn't got his weenie wet since a field trip to the water slide in 7th grade. I got this one. I mean, what else could she see in a guy who looks like he buys boner pills from the New Zealand dark web? Maybe it's because you once rode a camel? Shirtless? Wow, I'm looking at that picture and wondering which hairy beast retains more water. Oh, thank you. Little camel humor. And who can forget when he ran for president and electrified an audience of none?
I will be that president because I have lived that struggle and I know how hard you work and what you expect it to add up to. But I will always be real with you. I will be bold
without the bull.
Well, that went over about as well as a kissing booth at a funeral. Amazing. But that isn't his only claim to fame. Before he broke bread with a spy, he was breaking wind on live TV. Remember? Roll it, Sven.
The evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election.
It was the fart heard round the world. Or at least in D.C. Hell, over at the Lincoln Memorial, even Abe got up and lit a match. No wonder Fang Fang went back to Beijing. No classified info is worth smelling that. Which gets me back to this weightlifting challenge. I'm just not willing to share a gym with a guy who has uncontrollable flatulence. And I mean, it's bad. In fact, our audio team enhanced the sound of that video he posted of himself working out. I know, and what they discovered may shock you. Here it is with full sound.
I should be working right now. I should be at the Capitol. I should be in a suit. Instead, Republicans sent us home because they would rather stand up for Donald Trump than release the Epstein files and stand up for victims. We could be at Washington, D.C., lowering your healthcare costs, lowering your grocery costs, and restoring your rights. I should be working right now. Instead, I'm probably not.
Oh, man. You know, I hope for the sake of others he wiped down the bench afterwards. But this is what the Democrats are left with, just sad, thirsty videos of baby men seeking attention. But this whole party has lost its mind. What's next? Is Cory Booker going to challenge me to a tug of war? Will Rashida Tlaib want me to engage in a beard-growing contest? Will Jerry Nadler threaten me with a turd off? But Swallwell is a reflection of the party itself. It's an unqualified mess. Trump is scoring on pretty much every front right now. The border, the economy, foreign policy. Meanwhile, everyone hates the Dems. The party is less popular than Andrew Cuomo at bingo night. But it's the remaining men of the party who are truly sad. An emasculated pocket of limp dicks in search of some spiritual Viagra. Seriously, what do men do when they no longer know what men do? Theater. They thirst for attention. Then when rightfully mocked, they thirst for more. But underneath the lack of self-awareness is insecurity because they know they suck and it's never going to get better. The Dems can't debate the issues. They can't point to any wins. They have no leaders. And poor Eric is just a Nero in Nikes flexing for TikTok while his party burns. So thanks for the offer, fart man. But I'm afraid I'm not going to be your ticket out of irrelevance. I'm busy lifting other things. America's spirits, Fox News ratings, and Dana, so she can reach a doorknob. Let's welcome tonight's guest! He once performed for the troops to train them to withstand torture. Actor, writer, and comedian Jamie Lissow. This Brooke never babbles. Human rights attorney Brooke Goldstein. Fans travel from miles away to taste his sausage. Chef and restaurant owner Andrew Gruel. And she talks so fast, her tongue has a pit crew. Co-host of Outnumbered Emily Campagno. Jimmy, I'm always reminded by the rule that the person that always makes a challenge has more to gain from it than you do. It's like nobody ever accepts a challenge unless it's like good for them.
100%. Hey, really quick, you did it in the jokes. There was the naked guy on the subway.
Yeah.
I saw that guy. I was on that train. And in his defense, it was the D train. I take you in this challenge a million times over. This guy is so cringe and so desperate for attention. Even in that clip you just showed, he was like, I am very real. I am so real. He's like the most non-real person ever. I don't know. Yeah, he's engaging in some very juvenile stuff. I used to be a big bencher, Greg. I once benched 365 pounds.
Really?
Yeah. I'm kind of guessing, but she had to be at least 300. I mean, it was. Had a pee so bad.
Oh, God. Okay.
So
The show just gets classier and classier every time I'm on it.
No,
I thought I was over fart jokes.
What?
Oh, those are really good intros.
You like the fart jokes?
Yeah, I mean.
If I can make you giggle, Brooke, then my night is made. Do you find that Eric Swallwell is a viral man?
Oh, God. I think what we're really witnessing right now, Greg, is Swalwell and your midlife crisis play out on national television.
I'm past midlife. I'm 60.
You don't look it.
Thank you, Brooke. What are you doing later?
I mean, I'm doing a lot more heavy lifting and depositions than this guy. But yeah, this is political theater. Clearly, a man on the House Intelligence and Judiciary Committee, a former presidential candidate, is now being advised to be a social media influencer on TikTok because that is how you reach your audience. And these cringeworthy videos are coming up. And the day that your jokes, Greg, start influencing American political history, okay, is the day that we all need to be concerned with.
Oh, I thought you were going to say be happy about. We should be happy about it. Yes, very happy. Thank you so much, Brooke. Get her off the show. Andrew, there's something going on with men in the Democrat Party, and my theory is they have kind of aped the feminist beta male character where they approve of everything woke, and now that thing collapsed, they don't know what was behind there. They're like lost that original sense of who they are. So now they don't know what they are.
Yeah, there's no sense of self. I mean, there's definitely no super ego. It's just the id driving the bus right now, and that id happens to be a garbage pail kid known as Eric Swalwell.
Yeah.
You know, he's like a little girl in a pink dress pushing a hot dog through a donut telling me he's a chef.
Yeah.
I've seen that guy. That's Swalwell. You know, I don't know where that came from.
I don't know.
The funniest thing about this story is the fact that it's such a win and a success for you. This is a PR success for you, not him. A lot of people might say, like, oh, stop giving him the attention. It's like, no, this is only helping you out. And I'll tell you why. Well, two things, actually. I ran the numbers on this. First of all, you figure Swalwell is about 225, right? So he's benching 135, 60% of his body weight. Let's apply 60% of his body weight. I'm assuming you're maybe 160-ish, right?
Yeah,
you don't need to say.
Yeah,
you don't need to say. Okay,
it.
got it, 160. So you need to bench 95 pounds in order to meet his 135. You're good there. The reason I know you're good is that because of all of this going on, there's been some old pictures popping up on the internet of you.
That's right.
And we were having dinner the other night, me, my 4 kids, the wife, and those pictures were being passed around the table. Weird as it is. I think my wife still has the computer open looking at it, which got me a little frustrated. And they saw the pictures, right? So I'm flying out here to come onto the show, and my kid's going to be, where are you going? Dad, going to go on Gutfeld. They go, you're going out to see the bodybuilder?
Yeah.
Have you all seen these pictures of him?
No. Well,
this guy is ripped. He's got bigger forearms than when I went to Comic-Con.
Yeah, you know, those pictures were taken when I was working in Germany. A lot of art films. You know, I wouldn't say I was a bodybuilder. I mean, I was moving a lot of bodies, but I was building them into a pyramid.
If I had my wallet with me, I'd show you guys the pictures he's talking about.
Emily, what say you?
My pictures of you are up on my bedroom wall, obviously.
Oh, well, thank you.
Large size. Guys, this to me, it shows what happens when all of these Democrat leaders, elected officials, sort of run amok, they run unfettered. Because you know how when you operate in the real life, it's social culture that checks you. You can't shout something in someone's face without having there be accountability. But the reality is what we're seeing, that all of these guys acting out in such theatrical ways is because they truly have no idea what it's like in the real world. Everything is resorted to these theater, these antics. They're serving followers, not constituents. They are Instagram politicians, and really they should be legislating. There has been such a disconnect now between what the purpose of their job is and what fame brings them, without the reality check of, actually, Swalwell, you're just a dork. Actually, Swalwell, you haven't done anything meaningful. Actually, you are a blight. You are a pimple on America's ass. And for him to say to everyone that he hasn't heard of you, and show us what he benches, which is woefully inadequate, and think we will somehow be galvanized by that is such a joke. The only joke that is bigger than that is Eric Swallwell himself.
There you go. All right.
We're on Team Greg.
I think you should see a gastroenterologist. That's my advice. I'm here to help. I can get you some names.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.